Hello gentlemen, today I'm going to show you how to make pork soup. It's actually a Filipino dish. It's called pork sinigang. Now you got two things you got to have, right? You need this right here, Knorr tamarind soup mix, right there. Gotta have it. You're gonna have to probably go to an Asian market to buy it. You have to have it to make pork sinigang. Sorry, it's just the way it is. Other thing is, you're gonna need some pork. So if you killed a bunch of hogs, just cube them up. Doesn't matter if you use the ribs, the ribs, a back ham, whatever. You need big chunks of meat. What I did is went over to Walmart, and this is just boneless pork for carnitas. It's just big chunks of meat, and I'm just going to cut it up into bite-sized pieces. You need about 1 pound to 2 pounds. Usually I go about 2 pounds. Now, if you like ginger root, you probably will like this soup. If you do not like ginger, you're not going to like this soup. Now, I'm not talking like ginger cookies or something. I'm talking real ginger. So, just bear that in mind. So, if you want to be Mr. International, fix this soup and give it a shot, see if you like it. A lot of people, it's going to be one of those things, either you're going to like it or you're not. And of course you serve it with a big old bowl of rice. Alright, let me show you the ingredients. Here's what you will need to make pork sinigang. It's a Filipino soup. You need a 4-quart pot. You're going to need fish sauce. You're going to need 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of pork. A couple of serrano peppers or jalapeno peppers. About 4 tomatoes, an onion. You're also going to need ginger root. You peel that and slice it. A head of collard greens or mustard greens. Either or works. You're going to need salt, some accent, and you have to have this tamarind soup mix. Sinigang. It's to make pork sinigang. You have to have that or you cannot make this dish. Okay, cut your pork meat into bite-sized pieces. Just like that. And then you want to add that. Just throw it on top of that ginger root that's already in the pot. Okay, a lot of people with their collard greens or mustard greens don't like the stems. So they set them off to the side and throw them away and just use the leaves. I personally like the stems, so I put these in my soup. But you don't have to if you really don't care for them. And you want to fill this up to about 1.5 inches to about right there. You want to cover the pork and ginger with enough water to let it boil. There you go, see? Okay, y'all, now this is important. You have to add a lot of salt to this. So watch what I do. That's probably a couple of tablespoons. It's quite a bit of salt, but that's what makes it taste good. Okay, now we're going to bring this to a boil. When it starts to boil, skim the fat off the top, and then turn it down to a simmer and simmer it for about 45 minutes. Okay, after skimming off the fat, turn it down to a simmer and simmer for about 45 minutes with the lid on it. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. Time to add the tomato, onion, and serrano peppers. Kind of push that around, and you want to bring that back to a boil. And you're going to cook it until the onions are kind of translucent colored. Okay, y'all, I brought this back to a boil. Now I'm going to add my fish sauce and the tamarind soup mix. Now here's the measurement on the fish sauce. Just one big spoonful right here. I don't have exact measurements, this is just how I do it. So that's just the way you're going to have to do it if you make this soup. And yes, this is the same stuff that I put in my hog traps. It smells like hell, but it tastes really good. I'm going to add that. Tamarind soup mix. Add that, mix it around, and we're going to let it boil probably about 15 minutes. Okay, the onions are starting to become translucent, so now we're going to add all our greens to the pot. Now, bear in mind, if you taste this soup right now, it's going to be extremely sour and salty. But as you add the greens, it's going to absorb that, and it mellows out the flavor, so don't freak out. You know, if you taste it and it's kind of salty, because it's just the way it is. Now I had this whole bowl of greens going in here. You may think, oh, that won't fit, but as they go in, they start to, when they cook, they get real weak and they just kind of roll up. As you can tell, I'm getting it in there, but no problem at all. You just kind of keep pushing it to the bottom of the pot. And of course turn up your heat so that it brings it back to a boil. Now here's all the stems. I'm putting those back in because I like the stems. A lot of people don't. But I kind of like the crunch of the stems, so I'm adding them on there. There's some more stems. And we're going to get this, bring it back to a boil, and simmer it for about 5 minutes, and then almost finished. Okay, for the very last thing, as you can tell, the greens have cooked down and become soft. I'm going to add some MSG, some accent. Just want to give it a little shot right there. It just takes the edge off. And then just kind of mix it up. And that is how you make pork sinigang. And it's kind of a sour tasting, sweet tasting soup. You can see the color of it, but it's really good. Okay, gentlemen, the rice you want to use is jasmine rice. Okay, it's flavored, it's just jasmine rice. If you go to the grocery store, you'll see rice that says jasmine rice. Buy that. It's fantastic rice. Okay, gentlemen, that's what your final product's going to look like. It's pork sinigang soup. Okay, y'all, you might want to try that out. That's how you make pork sinigang. Maybe you can impress the neighbors, you know, invite them over, say, hey, I'm Mr. International, you know, making international cuisine. They may not care for it though, but I really like it, and you can also make it with catfish. So whenever I get in a load of catfish, I'll go ahead and make that soup, and you'll see that recipe too. It's pretty much the same thing, except you just add the catfish at the end with the greens. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching, and give it a try.